What's up, veterans? My name is Junius Bennett. I am 100% permanent total Navy Desert Storm veteran. And today's video, I'm going to share with you what are the most commonly claimed filings at the VA. They're called supplemental claims. And when you're filing a supplemental claim, you have to submit new and relevant evidence. So therefore, if you're doing a consult with me and you're already service connected for something, or you're already denied for something, you can do a supplemental claim to increase the rating from one rating, let's say PTSD 30% to 50 or 70. That's an increased rating claim, but it also under the umbrella of supplemental claim because you're going to provide new and relevant evidence. Now, if you've been denied for something, maybe sleep apnea secondary to PTSD, and you want to get that claim re-adjudicated through your regional office, you have to submit new and relevant evidence. This is not me, this is the law. So let's move right along to the law. Okay, definition of new and relevant evidence. Supplemental claims require new and relevant evidence in order for the claim to be re-adjudicated. All right? Now, as defined in the 38 CFR, this is the law again, 3.2501. New evidence is evidence not previously part of the actual record before agency adjudicators. So new evidence is not something they have seen before. Relevant evidence is information that tends to prove or disapprove a matter in an issue in a claim. Relevant evidence includes evidence that raises a theory of entitlement that was not previously addressed. Let me give you an example. You may hear me on the phone call talking about, hey man, you claimed the wrong theory. You claimed sleep apnea secondary to PTSD, or you claim sleep apnea as a direct service connection when you know darn well you didn't have an in-service complaint in your medical records stating you had a breathing problem or you had a sleep study done in active duty service, correct? So if you got a CPAP machine later on down in life and you got that because you think it's because of PTSD. PTSD is a stressor environment, a stressor event. You saw some death or whatever, and that's caused the back of your throat to close up when you're sleeping, and it causes you to have stop breathing. So now you need a breathing device to keep yourself alive, okay? Sleep apnea is not to be confused with snoring, okay? So if you have a diagnosed sleep apnea, you've been through an overnight sleep study, and the VA is giving you a CPAP machine, you got a 50% on the line and you need to get it service connected. So now you need to file a supplemental claim, but that supplemental claim not got to have new and relevant evidence. They already saw you had a CPAP machine and you already filed for it as a direct. What's new? New evidence is something that they haven't seen before. Now we're going to file sleep apnea secondary to obesity. Obesity is not a disability per se, but PTSD, a mental health disorder, can cause you to be obese, and obesity can cause the sleep apnea, different theory. So that's new evidence. Relevant evidence, okay, includes evidence that raises a theory. So not only if we're giving them new evidence with a new examination from one of our top-notch doctors here at New Life Veterans, new examination and a new theory satisfies new and relevant evidence. A new examination requires looking at your overnight sleep study records again and confirming that you have sleep apnea, and also claiming that the obesity, your body mass index is 30 or greater, and you only got that because of your PTSD. You're not working out, you're not motivated to work out, and you got that obesity as a major risk factor for sleep apnea. Now, we're going to move right along. New evidence that arms findings previously deemed favorable to the claimant is still relevant. There is no requirement that relevant evidence prove a previously substantiated matter. Now, example, a veteran previously denied service connection for a low back condition. You've been denied for low back. Evidence at the time of the prior decision noted a back strain on active duty in 1980, but your post-service medical record showed degenerative changes in your lumbar spine beginning in 2015, which is actually 35 years later, okay? The claim was denied and not incurred in service based on the medical opinion that the current lumbar spine disability was not due to the strain in service. On August 19, 2019, the veteran filed a supplemental claim, which is 4 years later, okay? A supplement for low back condition. The VA Medical Center treatment record showing ongoing complaints of low back pain. Now, let me summarize that. Now, you've been denied upon it, and now you're going back with a supplemental claim because now you got more evidence you submitted to the VA. Your treatment records shows the complaints and things of that nature. So the result, the supplemental claim is considered substantially competent based on new treatment records. New treatment records at the VA, okay? The claim also warrants a merits-based decision since the treatment records, despite relating only to previously established fact, are relevant to the claim for the back condition. So this is an example. The new and relevant evidence is the new treatment records. Now, you know darn well you're still going to need to have a DBQ and a medical nexus to go with it to make it more concrete because we want to paint this disability picture beyond a reasonable doubt. Hey, listen, my back is getting worse. I'm going for an increased rating for my back. And I got to show the increased symptoms. I got to go to the sick call. I got to go to the VA and get those records substantiated. I'm going to send a message over to my healthy vet. Hey, look, I need to be saying for my back. My back is getting worse. I know I filed 30 years ago and now it's getting even worse. I can say that now. Yes, new and relevant evidence. Now, if you got top-notch doctors, orthopedic surgeons that know how to document the complexities and the relationship of how it's getting worse, then you're going to win that claim. Now, that's just for an increased rating. For that theory we talked about for sleep apnea secondary to obesity, of course, that new nexus, that new link for obesity got to be talked about in the medical rationale. All nexus letters are not created equal. So if we're changing the theory and providing new evidence, new examination, we got to identify the obesity on the body mass index scale. We got to talk about how obesity is related to sleep apnea, a major risk factor. We got to say obesity is not a disability per se, but can use as an intermediate step. All those things got to be going into concept in evidence in your nexus letter and your DBQ with a license number and an NPI number right there on the DBQ. So what do you think that happens when we got all this new and relevant evidence and the proof and the NPI numbers and the license number substantiating a new and relevant claim, supplemental claim, that now instead of a sleep apnea secondary to obesity, PTSD, sleep apnea secondary to obesity caused by PTSD with the medical rationale, who's got the best weight? Because when you submit this claim over to the CMP examiners, they're going to do a new examination and they're going to write their opinion. What happens when you have a negative contract examiner and a positive from your end? They rule in the veteran's favor. You got to understand, you got to fight fire with fire. But if you're ignorant to the game and don't know the rules of the game, like most veterans, you're going to fall in the category of lowball rated veterans. The average veteran is making $1,400 or less because they don't know this exists. Now, let's back up the obesity aspect. Let's go to obesity as an intermediate step. We're going to type that in. This is the M21 in the adjudication manual. Obesity as an intermediate step. And all that get understanding. Okay? Now we're going to pull up this adjudication manual and we're going to talk about diagnoses, subthreshold, the procedures, laboratory findings. Come on, let's scroll a little further. We should go to the part where it says considering obesity as an intermediate step here. What is this? Impact Martinez. We're doing laws here. Diagnosis of pain. We don't want that. Moving right along here. Examples, earning. Okay, diagnosis associated with obesity. I know you guys probably can see it or can. Diagnosis associated with obesity. Considering direct service connection for obesity or considering secondary. In this example, we're going to do it as a secondary. Considering obesity considering secondary service connection for obesity, okay? Obesity per se is not a disability for the purpose of the service connection under the law. 38 CFR 310. If obesity resulted from a service-connected disease or injury, which is PTSD, is found to produce impairment beyond the contemplated applicable provisions of the rating schedule, consider an extra scheduler rating. This is law, 38 CFR 3.321. Obesity may be used as an intermediate step. There it is right there in black and white in the adjudication manual. Obesity may be an intermediate step between a service-connected disability, PTSD, and a current disability, which is sleep apnea that may be service-connected or on a secondary basis under what law? 38 CFR 3.310A and 38 CFR 3.310B. All right? Determine whether obesity is an intermediate step between a service-connected disability, the development of blah, 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 maybe service-connected, da, da, da. All right, so it must meet the following. The following criteria must be satisfied. The service-connected disability must have caused the veteran to become obese. Did the PTSD cause the veteran to be obese? Yes. He's not motivated to work out. He's consuming calories. Some people just eat on an eating binge when they're depressed. I know I do it with cookies and ice cream. The obesity as a result of the service-connected disability must have been a substantial factor in causing the claimed disability. Yes, the PTSD claims the obesity, aggravating the claimed disability. Aggravated sleep apnea, absolutely. The claimed disability, sleep apnea, would not have occurred but for the obesity caused or aggravated by the service-connected disability. It's right there in the adjudication manual. Now, example, a veteran claims secondary service connection for hypertension, asserting that the inability to exercise from service-connected back symptom caused obesity, leading to hypertension. To grant service connection, an adjudicator would have to resolve the following issues. Whether the service-connected back disability caused the veteran to become obese. Did PTSD cause obese? Yes. Did the whatever he was saying, back problems cause him to be obese? If you got back problems, you're not working out, obviously. If so, whether the obesity as a result of the service-connected disability was a substantial factor in cause. Can obesity cause hypertension? Absolutely. Obesity can cause hypertension, cardiovascular disease. Obesity can cause COPD. These are things that you can service connect for. All right. Whether the hypertension would not have occurred but for obesity caused by the service-connected back disability. If these questions are answered, how are they answered? In a nexus, because it's wrote out in the nexus with a competent and credible doctor that knows VA law at the New Life Veterans team. All right. If these questions are answered in the affirmative, the hypertension may be service-connected on a secondary basis. Now, I just broke down new and relevant evidence and how to do a supplemental claim and what we do here at New Life Veterans. We are not playing with this thing. If you're sick and tired of losing and you want a W, you want to get into the end zone, you're tired of stopping at the goal line, I want you to click the link below. Let's do a 30-minute consult and let's get you in the game and in the touchdown. Bye-bye.